because I became convinced it was the best way to make sense out of life. I had many people share with Christ with me when I was in high school. I thought they were crazy. Didn't want to have anything to do with it, but they kept showing up. So much so that as an agnostic, but somewhat fearful, the night before I went off to college, which was going to put me in a new city, and I was going to end up with a roommate living with someone for a year who I had never met before. I tell people it's a little bit like getting married without getting engaged. I prayed this prayer the night before I went off to college to gain this roommate who the university, acting as God, would supply for me. And the prayer was, "Dear God, I don't know if you exist, but if you do, please give me anybody but a Bible-carrying Southern Baptist from a roommate, because I want to enjoy my college years. Amen." That was the prayer. I got to Southern Methodist University, where I went to school in Dallas, Texas, up to the third floor of Bose Hall, which was my dorm that the school had assigned me. I looked on the door. On the door was my name and the name of Doug Mickey from Atlanta, Georgia. I opened the door. There was a trunk in the middle of the room. There were our dorms, 2 beds right next to one another, a little middle aisle, just enough to be able to scoot through, and our desks in the back. And he had already arrived, but he wasn't in the room. His trunk was in the middle, and sitting right square on top of the trunk was a leather-bound Holy Bible. I didn't have to ask his denomination. I knew what his denomination was. Doug Mickey was not only from Atlanta, Georgia, he was a member of the First Baptist Church of Atlanta, Georgia. God answered that prayer. He answered it negatively. He gave me a great friendship in that roommate, that potluck roommate that I got by chance. And in the testimony of him and some of the other people who had tried to draw me to Christ, I saw a different way of living and a different way of life that looked far more persuasive than anything else the world was offering. Came to faith between my freshman and sophomore year in college and never looked back. Never will. I get to look forward to and for and with eternity, because some people were faithful in living out their Christian faith. And I feel like other people ought to know what I experienced when I was on the end of not being a believer and being drawn to the living God by people who knew him personally.